We all go a little mad sometimes, and some of the best horror films depict that slow descent step by step, like today's pick coming in at number 11 on ML Miller Fright's Best in Horror Countdown 2024 through 2025. At number 11 is Best Wishes to All, aka Best Regards for All, or MINA ni ko are. It was released on June 13th, 2025, and is streaming exclusively on Shudder. It's directed and written by Yuta Shimotsu. Upon arriving at her grandparents' home in the country, a young unnamed nursing student, played by Kotone Furukawa, notices something is off. Her grandparents are acting strangely, freezing in place, speaking in riddles, being unnaturally chipper, and then there's the guy bound to a mattress in the attic. Before going to her grandparents, the young girl's view of life seemed to be optimistic and hopeful, but the longer she stays with them, the more she realizes that this happiness is a byproduct of something surreal and terrifying. Best Wishes to All is about looking behind the curtain of the well-to-do and successful and seeing what skeletons they have in their closet to achieve that kind of happiness. Much is done with the disconnect our nameless lead has with her grandparents, who seem to have changed greatly since she used to see them when she was a child. Director Yuta Shimotsu has taken the short film this film was based on and filled it with moments of the uncanny, when normal-looking things cause an unnatural effect that manages to terrify the viewer. Or at least that's what happened to me. There's something about older people that have always skeeved me out, and Shimotsu knows how to amp up that uncomfortable feeling to the max. While I understand the allegory Shimotsu is playing with for the most part, things get pretty nuts by the end of Best Wishes to All. I'm not sure I understand all of the metaphors regarding the family and a particular birth that occurs towards the end, but up until the last act, I followed along nicely, marveling at the clever way Best Wishes to All communicates this pessimistic message that no one is without sin, at least no one who has achieved anything in life, that is. Surreal moments like when the lead's brother starts bleeding from his eyes are viscerally uncomfortable to see, but it's nothing compared to what happens with the grandparents in the last act. Kotone Furukawa is fascinating as the lead. She's a nurse, so she's compelled to help and believes her grandparents are in turmoil. But as sweet as Furukawa is, she is far from naive. In fact, when she realizes what is going on, she fights her hardest to do what she believes is good, making her a character worth rooting for, even though this seems to be a situation a positive outlook simply can't beat. I left Best Wishes to All intrigued, a bit confused, and eager to share this oddball little horror gem from Japan with others. In a dog-eat-dog world where you have to cut a few corners and dot a few eyeballs in order to get ahead, Best Wishes to All rings truer than ever, despite how batshit crazy it gets. Dive into the surreal world of Best Wishes to All. It's a relevant, sometimes touching, and sometimes nauseating look at the twisted world we unfortunately live in. This Descent into Madness flick is sort of like last year's Outwaters, but with a much more linear storyline. Worth noting today is Delicate Arch. It was released on February 11th, 2025, and is streaming on Tubi and Screambox. It's directed and written by Matthew Warren. A group of friends, note the air quotes, head to the California desert for a little R&R, but after secrets are revealed and mind-altering drugs are taken, things start getting screwy. One of the kids, Grant, played by William Leon, is a blossoming filmmaker and spouts movie ideas to the rest of the group. Soon enough, the ideas he comes up with start becoming real, and the group realizes that they are living inside of a movie. The easiest thing to do in California is grab some film equipment and a few friends and decide to go make a movie in the desert. There have been tons of lo-fi movies lately, proving this, like the Horror in the High Desert series, and especially the Outwaters. The scenery is surreal, moody, and seemingly untouched by man. It's the perfect setting for a horror film.
The thing is, you have to have some ideas to match that setting, or it's just going to be kids in the desert with cameras. Thankfully, Delicate Arch has a compelling concept, a talented cast, and a somewhat clever yet meta script going for it. The cast does a great job of making things interesting the whole way through Delicate Arch. There really is no real reason these friends should be hanging together. Apparently they're longtime friends who have become somewhat estranged from one another. Grant used to date Wilda, played by Kelly Mack. Wilda might be in a new relationship. Grant and Cody, played by Kevin Bolivar, are antagonistic towards one another for the whole time. And Stoner Ferg, played by Renee Leach, just wants everyone to get along. Not only do the actors keep the plot rolling, they play off of the stereotypes you see in most horror movies. There's always a stoner, but here Leach makes Ferg much more three-dimensional and integral to keeping the group together. Out of all of these fighting so-called friends, Ferg, by far, is the most likable and my favorite of the bunch. The final girl-esque Wilda turns out to be not so virtuous. The smart-ass Cody is indeed an asshole, but there are reasons for this. Each character feels like an important column keeping this story aloft, supported, and moving. This type of advanced characterization is rarely found in films like this. Yes, things get meta, and usually I find that to be annoying. There is a bit of pretension present. The conversation in the car about how each represent the stereotypical slasher characters is a little too on the nose and could have been communicated in a smoother way. But the movie within a movie angle works. I like how each of these people are living their own nightmare of their own design. While the budget here is pretty low, a lot is achieved with forced and limited perspectives and quick cuts. There is a creepy alien thing that shows up from time to time, and some zombies scattered about, but for the most part, it's the desert around them that is the main character and provides the most atmosphere and scares. Like Outwaters, Delicate Arch utilizes the lonely desert atmosphere well. Unlike the Outwaters, Delicate Arch has a cohesive story, and by the end, there's a whiff of an idea as to what the hell is going on. While Outwaters went for the mood of the analog trend, at least I could understand the sense of story in Delicate Arch, which to me makes the film scores more likable and rewatchable. That said, things are kept relatively vague as to the cause of it all, instead simply diving into the metatextual stuff of the film, becoming a movie within a movie. I'm starting to confuse myself, so I'm going to end this review. But if you don't mind a heavy dose of meta and some nightmarish desert scenes, Delicate Arch is the desert meta movie for you, I guess. As always, feel free to agree, disagree, or how about you play along at home and give me your own picks for your own favorite movies of the year. It's October, so let's talk horror. Come back tomorrow for the next level in the Best in Horror Countdown. Be sure to hit all of those pertinent bells and whistles down below, and you'll never miss a post. Happy Halloween, folks.